Very disappointing loss for the Phillies tonight, 4-2 to the Washington Nationals. As we welcome you to Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Along with Ben Davis, I'm Michael Barkan, John Kruk in a moment. And Ben, as we talked in our seventh inning update, the person, the player, the pitcher I'm most upset for, because he's been hammered throughout his tenure here in Philadelphia, is Taiwan Walker. He pitched more than well enough to win, 4 2/3 innings, allowed 1 earned run. ERA goes down to 2.54, and they leave him on the hook.
Yeah, he threw the ball well. 85 pitches through the 5 2/3 innings that he pitched, and just not a whole lot. A lot of off-speed pitches by Taiwan tonight. Only 18% fastballs, whether that be 4-seam or 2-seam. 18% combined fastball. So he really had the off-speed. The cutter was good. The curveball was good. The splitter was really good. They were all down in the zone. Just not a whole lot to show for it. The 4 runs, only 1 earned.
Yeah, I said 4 2/3, 5 2/3 innings pitched for Taiwan Walker. Let's check in with John Kruk for the crossover presented by Chapman Auto Stores. John, of course, called the game with Tom McCarthy. John, take it any way you want it. It's a shame for Taiwan Walker because he has struggled at various times in his tenure here, and he really pitched well tonight, deserved a better fate, didn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely did. And I think the first play of the game tells you what kind of competitor that Taiwan Walker is. A lot of pitchers would have just, okay, it's a hit. We'll try to get a double play. Next at bat, keep Abrams close so he doesn't steal base. But, yeah, Bryce has to come up with that ball. If he knocks that ball down or gets an out, who knows how the game would have ended. But at that point, I think it still would have been a tie game. Or Phillies might have been down 1. But, Taiwan was pitching great until Wood hit that line drive off. And then they started stacking hits in the air and stuff like that. But, there's no way that this has any bearing on what Taiwan did tonight. He pitched great.
Johnny, what did you see on that play from Harper, that ball that got by him? It ended up being a 3-base error. Was he not ready? Did he not get down on time? What was it?
I don't know. I don't know if it hit the lip and it just stayed underneath. Stayed underneath his glove. But, you're always taught as a first baseman, never under, always over. So if it takes a bad hop and bounces over you, that's one thing. But you should never let a ball go underneath your glove. But that's what happened on that play right there at first base. And, like you said, if Bryce makes that play, then who knows how the game would have ended. But been a lot better outcome for Taiwan and the Phillies.
Yeah, it looked like it just, boom, it was up on him, went under his glove.
Yeah.
And no one's more upset about it than Bryce Harper, but that really cost the Phillies, unfortunately, tonight. And then the bullpen this evening comes in. What'd you think?
Well, Joe Ross threw the ball well. He had a couple hitters there got away from him, but Hernandez, he was firing. And they got to get Orion Kirkering right. He has one good outing, one bad outing. He needs to string together consecutive good outings. But other than that, look, you gave up 4 runs. And, Brad Lord came into the game with an ERA over 5. So, you thought the offense, should have been better. But, if the offense was better and the defense was better, the Phillies would have swept the Nationals. But, that's the way sometimes these darn things work out.
Yep, you're right about that, John. Lastly, tomorrow, Arizona coming in. They've got a better record than the Phillies. Well, actually, right now, coming in to tonight, 17-14. They were beating the Mets earlier in the evening. What are you thinking about that matchup tomorrow night?
Oh, man, this is one I was looking forward to because I love the Diamondbacks team because they're young, they're athletic, they run bases. I think Corbin Carroll, I think he had a down year last year, but I think he's one of the brightest up-and-coming stars in baseball. I think he's going to be a great player for a long, long time for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But, yeah, this is one I was looking forward to just because of I have trouble getting rid of things, So, 2 years ago when they beat the Phillies here in Game 7, I like their team. I don't dislike anything about them, but I hate them in the same vein. So, it's a tough one for me. But Yeah, let's hope that the Phillies, look, they're Alvarado, Strom, they should be nice and rested. So you're going to see a lot of left-handed hitters for the Diamondbacks. So you gotta come prepared.
Yep. We'll check you tomorrow, Johnny. Thanks so much
for
joining us. John Kruk. The Phillies defense has 16 unearned runs on the season. That's fourth worst in baseball. You can say fourth most. It's the fourth worst in baseball. 16 unearned runs. Rob Thompson has said, we've got to clean it up. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. This is the lot we've been given so far, at least this season. What will be their fate because of this, Ben?
Yeah, it just seems like you cannot give the opposition more outs. You cannot give them more than 27 outs because I know the Nationals have struggled this year, but they have a decent lineup. They will put balls in play, and you give them those extra outs, eventually they're going to come back to bite you where the sun don't shine. So they have to make sure they don't give them any extra outs. And I don't know if it's a mental thing. I think sometimes it's a mental thing, sometimes it's a physical thing. I'm okay with the physical errors from time to time. I'm not going to be okay with them all the time. But the mental errors, the ones that balls hit you and you're like, what do I do with this? What's the situation? That all has to be pre-thought every pitch of every at-bat. You got to realize, righty, lefty, is this guy fast? Is this guy slow? How many outs are there? The scoreboard will tell you a lot, and I know you can't always rely on the scoreboard because sometimes it's wrong, but you have to have that in your mind. Where am I going with this baseball if it's hit to me? Where am I going?
Yeah. So the Phillies failed to sweep out the Washington Nationals by virtue of tonight's loss, and they failed to get their first 5-game win streak by virtue of tonight's loss. Here's Rob Thompson on tonight's loss.
Did you think that liner on Ty's thigh affected him in the rest of that game?
I don't think so. When I went to the mound, I looked him in the eye and he said he was fine. Afterwards, he said it didn't affect him, but there's a ball down the first baseline that it's a tough play, but Harper usually makes that play. So, he pitched so well. He mixed his pitches. For the most part, he got ahead of hitters and attacked the zone. He's kept us in games. I trusted him.
What did you think of Rojas stretching that into a trouble there?
Yeah, it's something I'll talk to him about tomorrow because can't make it's a little too close for me.
You've talked about Ty's athleticism before. What did you make of that play he made on the first
Unbelievable. He's an athlete. I mean, he really is. And on those tweener balls in the 3-4 hole, that's how we teach it. The pitcher tracks the ball, second baseman comes and gets it, and the first baseman goes to the base. They executed the play perfectly, but the athleticism of Ty was really something.
Ranger coming back on Sunday, maybe a tough decision to make with the rotation, how it sets up. How would you assess the way Taiwan has pitched in these 6 starts?
He's pitched great. He really has. The work that he did in the offseason, he's mixing his pitches because of he's not throwing his four-seam as much, but because of the added velocity, all the other stuff is playing up. So the cutter's good. The split was really good tonight. He's got that little dump curveball that first pitch that he uses a lot. Usually throws it for strikes. He's pitched great. He's attacked the zone. His command's good. Been great.
Is there a path for him to stay in the rotation?
Well, we're still walking through it. We know that Wheeler's going to go on Tuesday. We know that. Beyond that, we're kind of up in the air a little bit.
Do you see a role as a long reliever for him if he's not in your rotation?
Absolutely. But I'm not saying that that's what we're going to do.
Where's the breakdown on the double steal there? Is that on the catcher or shortstop? What?
It was just, we had the play set up. It was going to be a return play, and it's really a game of catch. If he executes the throw, he's out at the plate. So just a low throw.
Is there any thought at all in the 6th inning when you have runners at the corners and Kepler coming up against a lefty of maybe going to the bench, or is it still too early?
No, well, it's not so much too early. He's just swinging the bat so well right now. I typically don't pinch hit in the 6th because you're going to come around the 9th with a right hand, but that didn't really play into it tonight. I just trusted his at-bats that I've seen from him.
What about with JT or Marchand?
No. You know how I play that.
In the top of the 6th, when you're still up 1-0, Abrams is in third, Lowe's at the plate. What's the thought process in keeping the infield in rather than conceding the run and getting it out?
What was the situation again?
You're up 1-0. Abrams is at third. Lowe's at the plate. The infield was in.
Right.
I think there was one out at the time. What's the thought process of keeping the infield in that moment?
Well, if the ball's hit on the ground, if he gets a base hit, he's not stealing a base, so he's not going to be on second base. So I'm going to take the chance that he hits the ball on the ground and we hold that guy at third base or get the play at the plate. Now we're still up 1-0.